Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on wearehotline.net. And joining us today is a community activist. She's a registered nurse, and she's a new author. Please welcome Jennifer Desmond to the show. How are you doing, Jennifer?
I'm fine, thank you, Nikki. How are you today?
I'm great.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. I'm so happy that we're able to make this happen. And I know you've got some wonderful things that you'd like to share with us. So let me ask you the first question. How did you get to this point of becoming an author? You're a registered nurse. You're out in the community, working with people, healing people. What propelled you into writing a book?
Well, to be honest with you, Nikki, I've had a lot of challenges along the way. I was a surgical nurse, am a surgical nurse, and I ended up in a car accident, which took me away from the bedside, and sitting at home, wanting to use my skills to still help people in the community, still help women that I was doing before, and still utilizing my nursing skills.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought maybe I can put my experiences and my challenges into a book for someone else.
Okay. Because what you do is it's a very demanding, stressful position. Not everyone has the ability and have the values to become a registered nurse. It takes a lot of education, and it also takes a lot of strength of character to, just experience what you do. Because I'm sure you may see wonderful things, but you also may see some atrocities on a regular basis too. How do you manage that?
Well, just to back up a little bit, I originally didn't want to be a nurse. It was the prompting of my grandmother that led me into nursing. She was a diabetic, and after she passed, I wanted to do something with myself, and she always thought that I would make a good nurse. I did study at Humber College. I did my initial studies there, and upon graduation, I went to work at the old Queensway Hospital, and then I ended up at Oakville, which I live in the town of Oakville. But I'm still at school as well. I'm studying for a bachelor's degree, and next month, actually in June, I'm going to be graduating in a leadership management for nurses course. So it's very demanding. You have to keep up with your skills, your knowledge base. You have to keep up with your quality assurance. But in the long run, it's very valuable. It's very, very promising. It's very successful.
Fantastic. And it's a wonderful thing to follow your passion too. I know sometimes it can be a little bit daunting getting into it, but once you're in it and it embraces you, it's just a wonderful thing that happens. Yeah. Well, let's talk about
nursing is for everyone, though. I think you have to have a certain passion, certain personality, and values as well, because it's caring for other people. It's putting someone else first.
Yes.
And it's very challenging, very challenging.
It can be. And that's why, we're gifted differently, and we thank you for, stepping to that position and being a nurse. But now you're venturing out into being an author. So when did that happen?
Well, that happened a couple years ago, about 5 years ago now. I was in a car accident, and being at home, I had to start over. I had to learn to do the simple things all over again. And even while I was learning for my own self, I was still taking care of everyone else instead of myself. Mm-hmm. And I had to take a step back, and I realized that I was going through a lot of things, that I was actually serving others in the community to help them to discover about themselves or to get over about themselves. And right. I was talking to a lot of professionals, a lot of leaders. We all had the same complaint, and it all stems from mental health issues. And I thought, all that I'm learning, including for myself, somebody needs to know. And so I embarked on writing this book. It's called Overcoming the Pits of Health, a guide to achieving wholeness in every area of your life. And it took me 4 years. I almost quit and went back to it. Every time I spoke to someone else and they were going through something more, I thought this book is really necessary for someone else, for everybody. And that's what led me to writing this book.
Wonderful, wonderful. So how long did it take you to write the book?
It actually took me 4.5 years to write the book.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I gave up in the process. I was going through my own pit. I faced a lot of personal challenges with my health from the car accident. And just being at home, I was depressed. I was down. And I'm thinking, if I'm going through this, what about other people? How are they coping?
Mm-hmm.
And it took me 4 years to write the book. A lot of encouragement from other people that knew I was writing the book, from other doctors, other nurses. Jennifer, why don't you put your experience in that book? We'd like to see what you have to say about mental health issues. And that's what got me started. And I was so glad when it was done.
Yeah, no, that's quite an accomplishment. And you did it steadily. You know, like I say to people, there's no such thing as an overnight success. Sometimes what you see may have been percolating for 10 years, 18 years, 25 years, you know, and coming up with a book like yours with the richness of information and depth, it took as long as it needed. So 4.5 years.
As long as it needed.
Yeah, you birthed this book, and now, you know, we're ready to receive it. So, I think that's a fantastic accomplishment. And I also wanted to mention that you've also you dove into another area of you know, entrepreneurship, Jade Press, which is a publishing house. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, Jade Press is self-publishing, and again, it just is an opportunity that just came, you know, like when you want to propel yourself forward, sometimes there's opportunities there, but we have to be in a position to see it. And so Jade Press came about. It was a vision that I had, and through it all, I was able to publish this book.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this is your first publication.
Yes.
Okay. And tell me maybe a couple of, you know, if you want to go through like a couple of chapters, what were two that, you know, really resonated? I'm sure all of them resonated with you, but what were two that you think really will hit home for a lot of people when they go through your book?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that you're right. It is a very valuable book. It's a small book. It's a very quick read. And I did that on purpose. There was just so much I could put into this book, but then it defeats the purpose of just having the book. In the book, there is some exercises to help the individual to get past anything that they're wanting to overcome. But for me, all of the book is a valuable book. It could have been expanded, but I kept it short. There is a few chapters in here that stands out the most, and that is the foundation of the health pitch. That is the very first chapter, because I found in that chapter people need to understand why we end up where we end up in life, whether it be mental health, whether it be personal issues, whether it be depression, even diseases. It comes from the things that build up our foundation, why we end up sick, why we end up in dire straits. But I really have to say that my favorite chapter is actually chapter 8. In chapter 8, it talks about the principles of just some. I wrote principles 1 to 10, and in those principles, it's just simple guidelines of just how we can readjust what's happening, how we can refocus what's going on. And I would recommend that chapter, as well as the rest of the book, to everyone that would like to get a book, I really do believe it would make a difference in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Now, if I was to read something from the book, principle number 1 itself is meditate. And people think of meditation as, just the Eastern philosophy of just meditating. But sometimes what we don't realize is when we sit and worry about the health condition we're facing or the diagnosis that we just got or a stressful situation not being able to meet the bills that month, that is a form of meditation. And it fits into our being, it manifests, and then you have other issues. So I actually put that as the number 1 principle in my book because meditation is a form of freeing up that self, that individual, whatever it is that's like you said, that's daunting. And there's lots to that one section. Meditation connects you to your greater self that is found within you. And a lot of us tend to lose sight of that only because our circumstances kind of overpower us. So if we can bring back our focus, and meditation is a perfect way to do that, a lot of other things become more clear.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we can become sharper with our vision and move towards our purpose in life. So that's a fantastic thing. Now, you've been doing a lot of work in the community through nursing, and now you're going to be branching out a different way through your writing. How do you feel yourself transforming through this work that you do?
Well, in transitioning, I like the fact that this first book is actually very successful. It's been recognized by the City of Toronto as a resource for mental, physical, and spiritual health. So that's a bonus, and it is very encouraging for me because it took me that long to write this book because part of it was, is it a need? Will people find it very useful? And that there alone is a very successful thing. Now, with nursing, I also have a nonprofit organization that serves women in the community. We serve a lot of women that have faced abuse or that need help in other areas of life. I've done a lot of consulting. I've done a lot of health and wellness programs in the community, not only for women, but for other organizations, not only around the health factor, but just in other areas of life. And so I'm hoping to combine them all and to become more effective, if not a motivational speaker, at least to use my nursing to continue on, if not writing more books, capitalizing on the first one that came because of such a great response, at least having more programs and partnershiping with other individuals that would, just see the vision forward. There's so many things that we could do out there with our nursing skills, but mine is to focus on the actual determinants of health that really is affecting people today.
Understood. That is fantastic. I am very proud of, all that you've achieved and excited for the many things that will come from, the wonderful project that you're involved in. I think that's amazing. And I'm sure the listeners are dying to know how to get in touch with you. What are some of your contact information so people can know where to buy the book and to find out more about what you're doing?
Certainly. Well, we do have a website. It's jadepress.net, JADEPRESS.net. And that's where all the information is for the book. We also have other items around the book, promotional items. Also, J Press do have a telephone number. It's 289-270-5863. The book currently is available through J Press. It's also available on Amazon and through Kindle. It's going to be available on Barnes & Nobles as well as Chapters in about another 2 months from now. And so I'm also at most media. I'm also involved in most social media. I've got a YouTube channel called Jennifer Desmond, Nurse Advocate. I've also got an Instagram account General 2016. I'm on Facebook at Jink Press. My email address is Desmond, JENDESMOND, 2016 at gmail.com. And for ROPE, anyone interested in ROPE, any programs for women or any women that are facing any violence, either spousal or family abuse of any kind, they can contact me through ROPE, and that number is 289-815-1486. We do have a website for ROPE, rrope.com, but currently that is being revamped as we're looking for new office space in Rexton. But those are really the means that they can get a hold of me. And I would absolutely love to answer any questions. I also am a practitioner of humanitarian medicine, and I've done some community work. I'm also a parish nurse, and so I'm available for partnerships, general questions, or even consultation.
That's amazing. Well, we want to thank you very much for your time with us today and your wisdom, and I really, really look forward to meeting you face-to-face and having you on the Nikki Clarke Show live in front of an audience, and I know that they're really going to enjoy all the wonderful things that you have to share with us. So I just want to thank you again for your time. We really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best, and I'll see you soon, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Nikki. It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing in the community yourself. You certainly are a wonderful person, and you're if I can say it, you are my mentor.
God bless you.
That's
Thank
what
you so
you are
much.
to me. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye-bye.